Can you guys see me when I'm down there? Oh, no, you can't. Okay, it's because I'm like a hugger, so I like to get in on things. I am here. I am here. I am. Can I get a clicker for this thingy? Is it up here? Awesome. I am two of the most powerful words, hands down. Anything you put after those two words can either make or break a person. Do you agree? Yes. Right? It's an affirmation. And so when we come here today, when we start thinking about our brand, what I want you to start thinking about is, what is your I am? What are you declaring in your life? And as a business owner, as a personal brand, and just a show of hands, how many of you have a small business? Awesome. How many of you are the face of your business? So you, a lot of us. How many of you are in MLM or network marketing? How many of you are service professionals, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors? Okay, so the entire room. So if this is right for you, so you're right in the same place. So the thing is, our I am and what we're affirming about ourselves really determines how we show up in the marketplace, or if we show up at all, actually. So there's a statistic out there that was put out by Inc. a couple years ago, not too long, probably about 2 years ago, that said that 60% of businesses can be seen online, are actually showing up online. And of those 60%, only 12% have a Facebook page, okay? And of those people, only 9% feel that their strategy is working for them. Only 9%. So what's interesting, and what I'd like to explore today is, what is it but that the 9% of businesses that are actually showing up and seeing results online, what is it that they're doing? What is it about their brand that is working for them, especially in the marketplace? And what was interesting, though, is the study said that the reason why there were only 60% and 12% of the 60 and 9% of those people, the reason why it was so that figure is so small is because everybody else in the survey was saying, well, I guess it's because I am too small. Or I guess it's not really working for me because I'm not tech savvy. We're not tech savvy. And so it's because of these declarative affirmations for these business owners why they were either not having success in the digital marketing and media sphere, or why they weren't showing up at all. And so there's a great saying that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Say that with me. As a man thinketh, so is he. Meaning that as you think that you are, the I am that I think that I am is what you will see. I like to say, as a brand thinketh, so is she or he. So I'd like to explore that question. What is that I am that you're declaring in your business? What is your brand I am that you're showing up in the marketplace? Or are you showing up at all? And I know sometimes in our businesses, which are very much an extension of our life, especially if you are a service professional, personal brand, all of you in the room, sometimes we get into life circumstances where we might have gone through some challenges, some traumatic events, where it's really taking a toll on our identity and how we're actually showing up. You might have heard someone tell you that you're not good enough, or you're not going to amount to anything. Or you might have been in a position where a leader told you, you know what, I don't think you should go that direction, but your heart really wanted to go that way. Or sometimes it's just that we went through so much that we lose a sense of our true identity. Does anyone understand what I'm talking about here? Really, your identity, carving out a lifestyle and a business for you that sometimes carves out a struggle for you, a path of struggle for you. Is it all right if I tell you my story?
Sure.
All right. So I was raised by a schizophrenic mother. She was challenged with schizophrenia. She was very, very loving, but let me tell you, it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. At times, her hallucinations were fun. They were very imaginative. And as a matter of fact, due to that, we would often have really fun times, especially around the Grammys and the Oscars, because she'd be like, I'm Michael Jackson. She was serious, though. I'm Whitney Houston. I used to, and it was quite interesting because those parts of her didn't faze me. Mind you, I was really young at the age, so I wasn't really in a position to say, Mom, you need to stop saying that. I was very young. So I just kind of was like, yeah. And there were times when it was great and it was fun, and she would encourage me in my own endeavors. I got into a lot of dramatic arts and performing arts, and I really enjoyed that part of my life. But there were a lot of times where she would have very, very scary hallucinations. She would see darkness and demons, and she would hear them and yell at them and scream at them. And what was particularly interesting about my mother, and a trait that I actually picked up, was she was really good at acting different in public. She would never have these outbursts in public. She was always well put together. She grew up in a convent, so she really was mannerly. She, dotted her T's and crossed her I's, or is it the opposite? Dotted her I's and crossed her T's. And, in those moments, I learned that when she was having her outbursts and when I was really afraid, I would just block it out and I would use my imagination too. I would just continue playing with my toys. And that was the first time when I really started to take on something about my identity, which was that I am always afraid. Always afraid. Unpredictable. Didn't know what my mom was going to do at any given point in time. And that particular hallucination that was around me, I had to change it up and see things different as a child. So I would pretend that it wasn't actually happening. And so I went, eventually, as I grew older, I love you guys, so I just gotta get eventually, as I grew older, I ended up being bounced around from home to home, because eventually they ended up detecting that she was actually too severely ill to take care of me. I would go to my auntie's house, and when they weren't able to take care of me, I would go to the neighbor's house, and when they weren't able to take care of me, I would go to my best friend's house around the way. I really bounced around a lot, and another thing that ended up happening in that moment was that I didn't really have a sense of belonging. I am alone was another part of my identity. I'm not committed was another part of my identity. And this pattern perpetuated into my university years. So we know that in the first few years of life, you are programmed with some sort of behavioral trait. And so here I am, growing up, going to university, and because I'm a loner, because I'm afraid, and not only just afraid, I'm afraid to commit. I end up going into one program, auditioning, being picked out of hundreds of actors, getting the role, and then being, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. Or another opportunity would come up for me, and oh, I'm not doing that anymore either. Changed my major 4 times, couldn't commit to something. And I'm wondering, what's wrong with me? Fast track, my mom gets severely ill, and I'm actually at the age where I need to take care of her now. She goes blind, and I'm at this place in my life where I graduated. I'm in a career, but not really in a career. Let's just say I was faking it till I make it kind of thing. That sometimes works, and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm going to show you two scenarios where that worked for me. But this time it wasn't working. I was putting on a facade. Oh, I'm okay. Yes, I can take care of my mom. Yes, I'm good at business. I'm an entrepreneur. And yet I was struggling in my business. As a matter of fact, I was secretly working part-time at a retailer, and it's okay if you have to do that. But I was trying to be this inauthentic thing, because I have been practicing that my entire life. Being something that I'm not. Making the picture look better, even though there's trauma happening. Burying up a lot of emotions inside of me that I didn't know where they're from, but it didn't seem right, so why address them, right? So as I grow, as I go into my career, I'm bouncing around, and it finally hit me when my husband, after I had my first child, we had a sit-down conversation. And he was like, Cherene, I believe in you, which he is very supportive. A lot of you might know him. I believe in you. I think you're doing an amazing job. But the truth of the matter is that you might have to go back and get a J-O-B. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, no, I'm an entrepreneur and you know, carrying on this facade, this whole fake it till I make it, because I knew I was going to make it. But in that moment, what I realized is I really need to look at what's happening on the inside. And what I realized was that those negative emotions, those affirmations were really holding me back. I was operating from a place of I'm an imposter. Inside, I really felt like I wasn't good enough, like I was a failure, I was afraid, and that I was alone. And so, for me, what I had to really start to do was let go of this, because it was obviously creating my struggle. It was the reason why I was hiding in my business. At the time, I was an image consultant. Perfect for an actor, right? Image consultant. And when I started, I was like, yeah, I can do that. I'm good at making people look perfect because I do it every day. I show up perfect every day and nobody knows what's happening on the inside. I can do that for people. And so I was an image consultant at the time when I just started in entrepreneurship. But I was hiding in my business. I wasn't being myself. I was hiding behind my logo. Hiding behind, oh, this is the name of the business and this is what we do. I wasn't being authentic. And as a matter of fact, although I had a website, because everybody needs to have a website, when it came to networking, I wasn't really there heart to heart. When it came to sharing resources and education, I wasn't showing up. And so what I realized was, all this time, I had been playing into my imagination, using my own creativity, my acting skills, my positioning skills, to position something that was totally not me. And it came from those negative I ams. And so I did some work. I afraid became, I can do this. I am alone became, I am surrounded by coaches, mentors, a community that can lift me up. I am a failure an imposter, that facade, became, I am going to show up as I am. As I am. I am Cherene Francis. I went on to immerse myself into the field that I was in. I let go of those negative emotions. I got a lot more confident. I went on to study marketing because that was a part of me that I was resisting, which was promoting myself. Some entrepreneurs, when they moved from the 9 to 5, they were working for somebody their entire life, promoting their company their entire life. When you transition into the entrepreneurial field of things, now you have to promote yourself, which is a whole different ballgame. And so I embraced it. I went into marketing. Went into marketing, studied marketing, did it for my business, had tons of success. I did it online, and I actually did it in such a way that I was able to generate a passive income through the digital marketing that I had learned. I got clients from online too. I got clients when I was offline too. And I was doing so well that I also had other small and medium-sized businesses ask me to lead their marketing teams, which was quite fun. And then so here I am, I became this tech-savvy girl. I had all the confidence I needed, not only to promote my business and promote what I was doing, but I was having so much fun at it. I was cultivating communities, and I still do that now. And, you know, with continued persistence and activity, what happens is that your business grows over time. And so it was 2 years ago, Gordon, 2 years ago, I met with Gordon and Randy at the Empowering Women to Succeed event, right here in this building. And I was in Coach's Corner, and I was coaching people and helping them with their personal brand and their confidence. And it was from that relationship. This is why showing up is so important in your business. Give yourselves a hand for showing up today. You never know what will happen when you show up. Sometimes we go to events and we're like, oh, really? Like, all day? Really, Gordon? Mastermind at 7 p.m. I'm kidding. All day? I'm kidding. You don't want to stay for that. It's going to be amazing. And so, you know, you never know what's going to happen when you start showing up. And so I was showing up in my business. I came to this event, and then I went into Coach's Corner, had a phenomenal experience there. Then I had a lot of joint ventures. I joint ventured with Gordon. I joint ventured with Randy. And there were other communities that I immersed myself in. And, you know, put two and two together, one day I have this amazing idea that, oh, I'm going to start a TV show. And then I'm like, Janine, let's start a TV show, right? We were like, just like, oh, let's start a TV show. We were pretty confident at that point, right? Janine, wow, if you hear her story, she's amazing, amazing. But she follows me and uplifts me as a brand all the time. And so here I am now having a television show and taking media to the next level. And this is coming from someone that, again, was hiding behind her logos. I resisted social media. I resisted it. Actually, as a matter of fact, when social media first came out, I would have anxiety over it. Because it brought back all the high school people that excluded me, all the people that made fun of me. They were now on my phone. Like, why? Right? So I resisted it when it first came out. And so it wasn't until I really started declaring a new I am that I took off. The television show launched last year. This, by the way, using video is phenomenal. 10 times my exposure, probably more than that. Definitely increased my income more than double. And it's just been amazing since then. And so I've been having a fun, not only using digital marketing, media, and just showing up as a personal brand, as someone that's confident, helping people do that has been so much fun. And so what I do as a professional now is I continue to empower other people to, again, show up confidently, but not inauthentic. So I still teach fake it till you make it, but not faking it in terms of covering what's really going on down there, because you have to address that first. But fake it, meaning posturing. Start posturing and positioning yourself and start thinking of yourself in a new light. Give yourself a new I am. Say, I am.
I am.
I am. I am here.
I am.
Yes, you're here. I'm so glad you showed up today. And so let's continue. So you are in the right place right now if you want to leverage digital marketing media in your business. Okay, you're in the right place. So what I'm going to talk about right now are 4 keys to establishing your brand. And I just want to be a little bit more specific, right? So all of you that have put your hand up today, you are what is called a personal brand. When I talked about the 9% that are finding effectiveness in their business, it's because they understand that humans connect to humans. So even companies that are, big Coca-Colas or, are the big Walmarts, understand that they need brand ambassadors, meaning people face-to-face to go and influence. They connect with influencers. Because more and more, because of the big hype of everything and accessibility, there's a lot of noise in the marketplace. And so people aren't about to connect with just robots at this moment. That's another talk. But they're looking to connect with people. So I also want to say that this is very much an introduction. A lot of you have taken my workshop and know how deep I go with things. So what I'm going to do here is give you a 101 on personal branding. I'm going to give you really good meat and resources that you can apply right away. And then after, I'm going to show you how you can take things to the next level. Does that sound good? Awesome. All right, so this is the keys to the kingdom. Right? I am rich. Woo! Let's get dancing.
I am rich.
I am rich. This is the affirmation and the declaration you need for your personal brand. I am rich. Rich standing for I am a renowned, inspirational, charismatic hero.
Yes, I am.
Woo! All right. So let's break this down. I am rich. Let's say together. I am rich. Okay, so renowned. Renowned means to, the word is actually from renown, which means fame. It means to name or to be named over and over again. It has to do with your reputation, to make famous, to repeatedly be talked about. I am renowned. How do we make that happen? So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what do I want to be celebrated for? Okay, sometimes we have a lot going on, especially as entrepreneurs. We tend to be very creative with our ideas and thinking. We want this side business, and we have that side business, and I want to do this. Oh, and have a book, and then I have a backpack full of tools, and right? So that's all right. That's all right. But when it comes down to it all, through everything, whatever vehicle you choose, what do you want to be known for? When people say your name, you want it to represent something, okay? And remember, you need to first accept who you are and really believe that you are worthy enough, you're good enough to be known and celebrated. So start celebrating yourselves. Okay? So who's this guy here? What is he celebrated for? Let me get some answers from the audience. Apple. Work ethic. Smart. Innovation is the big one that's always attached to his name. Determination.
He's rich.
He's rich. Amazing. That's right. Right, so Steve Jobs, I didn't even have to put his picture up here, but we know what he stands for as a brand. Innovation is really key for his brand. They're always on the cutting and leading edge of technology. Who's this woman?
Hello.
That's me. No, I'm just actually, I didn't quite plan that, but okay. Oprah, what is she known for? Relationships, she did some talks on that. Philanthropy, authenticity, inspiration, you get a car, and you get a car, right? Billionaire giving away stuff like crazy. You would only get that if you watched that episode. You're like, what? Cars? Where? This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jordan. What's he known for? Winning, determination.
Laser focus.
Laser focus. He's an example of a company that needed a face. Nike. Right? So he's pretty much the face of the company. So my question to you is, what are your superpowers? Because really, your superpowers will start to help you cultivate what you're going to become known for. And this is an exercise that I take my clients through and people that I'm working through, is really start taking inventory of everything you're good at. And I mean everything, because sometimes the things that you don't quite think are superpowers, because they come so easy to you, they tend to be your biggest thing in your toolbox. So what I would do is start jotting down, take a reflective moment and jot down those things for yourself. And you also want to ask people around you, what am I good at? What would you say my superpower is? You want to ask those people that are obviously uplifting you and that support you. And that thing that you didn't quite see, keep it front of mind, because you'll be surprised what happens with it. Is Liz Strike here? She went home. Okay, awesome. Here's something that she said. Oh my God. It was amazing. It was fantastic. I never knew I had superpowers. I needed to learn how to develop my brand and create a website. You use questioning to uncover my strengths, talents, abilities, and what my true passions were. Now I understand myself better and can relate to prospects. So the thing is, when you start to uncover those superpowers and the things that you're good at, naturally you have something great to talk about, right? Because you're no longer this 2D person, you're this three-dimensional person that has a family and has a hobby here and has a rainbow of things that you're all into. So she talks about how her website is up and running, people are responding. The reason why I put Liz Strike up here is she's one of those women that really took her brand when she really knew what she was about. She went on social media. And she's a health and fitness coach. She actually keeps me accountable. And she does really cool stuff. She likes dogs. So what does she do? She does Facebook Lives working out with her dogs, literally. They're quite hilarious. They're quite cute. And that's leveraging a whole dog market. Oh yeah, that's so cute. Oh, I have a dog too, right? And so she gets a lot of responses and a lot of interaction that way. The other thing you want to think about when it comes to being renowned is knowing who you serve. And this is a huge one. And I don't think entrepreneurs can hear this enough until you've really grown your business. You need to know your niche, your target market. A focus of people that you are going to continually show up to. Now, a lot of us get a little bit scared when it comes to narrowing down because we're like, but my service is for everybody, right? How many of you understand what I'm talking about, right? My service is for everybody, right? We want to target everybody. And absolutely, we don't want to exclude anybody. However, because you don't want to be all things to all people. If you're not a specialist, you're a generalist. And unfortunately, generalists don't, it's not that they don't make money, but in the marketplace that we're in, there's just too many other people doing the same thing that you are for you to be a generalist. All right, so I'm going to say that again. Some of you are like, huh? Cherene, if they have a pulse, if they have skin. So let's use the example of doctors, right? So your general practitioner, right? How many of them? There's lots of them. They're everywhere, right? But the surgeon who does, say, eyeball surgery, do you think he's making more money? Do you think they are willing to fly him out from San Diego to Toronto?
Yeah.
Right? Do you think they pull him in to lecture at a university? So more stages, better pay. There's plenty. There's plenty. So the reverse actually happens when you narrow down. What happens is that because you're so specialized in whatever it is that you're doing, that there's high demand for you. There's more people that you can now serve because not everybody's serving them. So ask yourself, if I were to be the top 5% in anything, how would I do that? How can I be the top 5%? How can I eliminate competition? That's really what it's about. Because you see, when you have a personal brand, because there's no one else like you, you're not competing with anybody. They either love you or they don't. Right? So me as a personal branding expert, there are tons of branding experts, but I know that there's a unique quality that I have. And again, that comes back down to confidence, really declaring that I am. And so you want to niche down, you want to pick that target market and this is a good thing for you to do, to really reflect on what am I good at, what are my superpowers, what have I experienced, what is that little tiny pocket full of people that I should serve. And boy, do those pockets pay well, because these are clients that are willing to stay with you over and over and over again, because there's no one like you. Okay? And so here's a model that I often show in my classes and workshops. It's a model that shows, once you've decided what your brand is and who you're targeting, how to now start driving more, is there a pointer on this? more prospects, leads to your business online. So the thing is, with the websites when they were first created before I was born, but in the 80s, 90s, okay? Websites were there as kind of like an online brochure, right? You can go find out about their name and information. But what a lot of people don't know is that your website can actually work for you in the background. It can book appointments for you in the background. It can collect payment. It can sell for you in the background. There's a lot of cool things that your website can do. And so once someone has established their brand and who they target, the next phase of really owning that renounce is to start marketing yourself using lead generation tools such as social media, video marketing, television marketing, radio marketing, advertising. All of these tools are great for meeting a mass and reaching a mass amount of people and bringing them to your website. And there are great tools and tricks and tips that I often teach that have to do with how do I now take this big group of people and start serving them. And so we're going to continue talking about that. So, I am rich.
I am rich.
I am rich.
I am rich.
The next is inspirational. Okay, so it comes from the Latin word, which means to blow in, to inspire, to inspirit. It's in the spiritual sense. It means that you are invoking action in a particular person. So they're now motivated to move. They're going to do something. And what's really cool is that this word implies that you open your mouth. You can't just stand there and be inspirational, although some of us would like to be, right, Josanna? Go do the pose for isn't she inspirational? No, you have to open your mouth. You have to speak. You have to use your voice.
Right. That's right.
So what's really cool is that a lot of the times when we get to this point where we're an entrepreneur, we tend to kind of resist full self-expression. And I've had this example happen a couple of times where someone will come to work with me and they'll be like, Cherene, so this is what I do, but I don't want to talk about anything that has to do with this part of my life, or this part of my life, and this part of my life, oh yeah, and this part of my life. And I'm like, okay, so then we're only talking about your insurance programs, and I don't know how creative we can get with marketing your insurance programs only. Oh yeah, I know, but I don't want to be too controversial. I don't want to exclude anybody. I don't want to, so let's say this, right? When you start putting your brand out there, you want to embrace full self-expression, okay? Do you notice that the people that are most self-expressed, they do tend to be annoying? Trump, they do tend to be very self-expressed. And that wasn't a political, I'm just saying, like he tends to get on a lot of people's nerves. But that's because he's saying it like it is. He doesn't filter himself. Now, am I saying that you want to be like that? I'm not saying you want to be like that. What I am saying is you want to be fully self-expressed with the intention of reaching the people that you need to reach. And so what happens is those personal brands, those individuals that speak up, that say it like it is, they tend to win. They tend to get the attention that they're looking for. They also tend to inspire some sort of action. So ask yourself, what is it, and this is where it comes down to, really coming to terms with who are you and why are you here? What is it that you really want to be doing in the world? In your community. Because if you want to inspire inspire movement, if you want people to engage with you, if you want people to pay attention and take action, you have to be inspirational. You have to speak. You have to use your voice, and you have to do it without being cluttered. You have to do it without being unapologetically. You just say it like it is. And again, this is why it comes right back down to the I am. Who am I? Am I good enough? Am I worthy of being heard of? And these are the questions that you want to address. So this is what you should know about social media, because we know it's there, but yet not a lot of us are using it for our business, or we're using it but we're like peeking, right? We're like, oh, that's what she's doing? Oh. Yeah, see, like we're watching, but we're not really showing up. It's kind of like we're all in a big basketball game, right? And there are people on the court playing, and then there's the bench warmers. So please, let's all be on the court. All right. So 93% of shoppers' buying decisions are influenced by social media. 93%. So that means they go online first, and they check you out, or they check out the reviews before they're buying anything. Amazingly, it's really easy to target like to the specifics of an individual in terms of their marketing. So instead of being really broad, you can be like, oh, I want to target people that are following, you know, Beyonce, or I want to follow people that are following Tony Robbins, or I want to target people that were at the Toronto Women's Expo. Really cool stuff like that. You can get ranked in search engines higher because of it, discover new audiences that you would have never known before, and also, it's just something about social media that when people see you, you're just seen as being, it depends on how you present yourself, by the way, but you have more brand recognition. So the more people are seeing you, is the more they're reminded that you exist in business, right? And you also can cultivate communities which give a sense of loyalty. Another great thing is omni-channel marketing, which is pretty cool. So have you ever, say, been dabbling on like the Old Navy website maybe, and you're like, oh, I like that shirt, and then you clicked on the shirt just to look at it. You weren't planning on buying it. Then all of a sudden you're on Facebook and whoop, there's that shirt. And whoop, it's over here too. And you're like, oh, are they reading my mind? And then you go into the stores now and it's like, ding, that shirt is now on sale. Like they're all sophisticated with this. So you can do so many cool things with it. That's me and Mr. Craig Dunkerley on our TWE show. And what I will tell you is that as soon as I started using video, not only did Facebook and other social mediums prioritize my content, but my views went from, instead of 50, or it would just be 300 views. Imagine just taking 5 minutes and saying, hi, like my name's Cherene, and just getting on Facebook Live and all of a sudden 300 people know about you. It's a little scary, right? I know it's a little scary, but it's also really cool. Because the more you do it over and over again, you're getting exposed to lots and lots of people every day. So start thinking, how big do I really want to grow my business? How many people do I want to reach? Who am I not reaching because I'm not using these tools? Okay, so this is what you need to know about video marketing. The average internet user spends 88% more time on a website with video than without. Janine, can you stand up, please? Everyone go and get her card after. The average internet, well, it says 88% now. 88% of all internet traffic is just video. Just video. So just think about that. If you want to really start reaching the people, then you want to start integrating video. And the easiest way to do that is with a Facebook Live. But there are other amazing ways, and as I said before, I will show you how to take things to the next level. 64% of consumers are more likely to buy a product after watching a video about it. Really cool. Okay? If you're using landing pages or you have a subscribe list or an email list, did you know that you will increase your subscription rate by 80% just by having a video? Wow. And despite all of this, only 24% of brands are using online video to market to their consumers. So we really want to start showing up as much as we can. Use the word video in your email subject lines, and it will boost your open rates by 19%, click-through rates by 65%, and reduces unsubscribe rates by 26%. So people really want to see you, hear you, and feel you. Okay? Oh, and yeah, this one is the scary part, because I think this one's the scary part. So 74% of all internet traffic in 2017 will be video. However, all the social mediums, Google, in terms of that digital marketing sphere, they are all prioritizing video, meaning they know that people want it. And so soon, a lot of the meetings that you're on, they're going to be in video. So why not get started now? And here's just a testimonial from someone in the Toronto Women's Expo community. As someone brand new to becoming an entrepreneur, you made such a difference for me by encouraging me to be confident and to be in myself before I went to film. You took the time to help me and calm me, and I have not forgotten that. Thank you. How many of you have been on the Cherene Francis show? If you're here, can you just stand up? I'm not going to get you to talk. We have 3 individuals. So what was interesting, thank you. What was interesting is that half of the people that are on the show are like Cherene, have never been on video, haven't even done a Facebook Live before. I can't imagine myself being on television, and we take them through the process, calming them down, scripting them, making sure that they know what to say, we talk about all the positioning and how they want to be perceived, what do you want, someone watches the interview, what do you want people to do, that sort of thing. So we have lots of fun. Here's another cool guy. He's a Canadian. I haven't worked with him, but his story is so inspirational. So Terry Fallis is a great author, and what happened with him was he had a book that he wanted to publish, and he went to a couple of publishers, and they all turned him down. So guess what he started doing? He started podcasting, so this is radio now. He started doing an internet radio, and he would talk about his chapters. Every chapter, he'd go and make a podcast about it. See, the thing is, as soon as we start respecting our work and our content, start referring ourselves, as soon as we start, promoting ourselves, it just does something really cool. So that's what he was doing. And eventually what ended up happening is that he got picked up, his book got picked up. He has, I believe, 4 award-winning books. He's received 7 award-winning books. He's received awards. He's been featured, his book has been made into plays, CBC broadcasting, everywhere. He's speaking everywhere. He's doing so many cool things. Why? Because he decided to promote himself. So people need to know and hear. All right, I am rich.
I am rich.
I am rich.
I am rich.
C, charismatic, is to be talented or divinely gifted by God. That's what the word originates from. To give the gift of leadership, have the gift of leadership, power, and authority. So in the media context, charisma is kind of like a magical thing. It's kind of like showing up, being attractive, alluring, charming. And for some of us, we avoid media because we're like, well, I'm none of those things, right? Which is not true, because as a matter of fact, you don't need to have any of those things, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but also your audience might not be looking for the next model off of the runway. They're looking for authentic people. They're not looking for someone glam all the time on social media, because then the perception is, oh, they're not quite there all the time. Like so for instance, what might happen is if you are promoting something that's really casual, if you have a brand that's really casual, and all of a sudden you're showing up and you're all dressed up in tuxedo and stuff, people can read through that. They'll be able to tell whether you're being authentic or not. So really what charisma is has nothing to do with necessarily with charm and looks and things like that. That might help depending on your target audience, okay? Does that make sense to you? So if you are targeting people that like to get all glammed up, like, who's that woman there? Who's that woman there? Yes, how'd you know? Glammed up. See, Kardashian is a brand. As soon as glammed up means Kardashian. So there's an example of great branding. Kim Kardashian, her audience, they're into glam. If Kim shows up and she's not glam, it's like, what happened to Kim today? Did she sick? What happened, right? So you don't necessarily need to show up that way because your audience might not be looking for that. Really what it's about is, again, it's back to that affirmation, the belief in yourself, the I am, being confident and coming with that tonality, with that posturing, and speaking from a very confident space. And here's another testimonial. So your insightful perspective went deeper than I could go myself. You helped me create a presentation focusing on the client. Let Cherene do her magic on your presentation. You'll be pleasantly surprised. The investment was more than worth it. I got at least 100 times what I invested in his benefits. So in Ron's case, what was quite interesting is it's not that he wasn't showing up, he was showing up. But what was happening is he was so eye-focused. Does that make sense? He was focused on himself, focused on his benefits, his features, what he can do for you, how he looked, XYZ, etc., etc. The thing is, charisma has nothing to do with you. It has to do with your passion for the people. So as soon as you start focusing, stop focusing on yourself and how I look, and what am I going to say, and what are they going to think. As soon as you get out of that thought and you start focusing on who you're serving, that's when charisma happens, because you're really ready to help them. You're really pushed and pumped and passionate to help them. And so that's what charisma is all about. I am rich. Awesome. Hero. Last one. So in literary terms, a hero is someone that, has challenges, they overcome the challenges, they save the people, and they win the day, right? And usually that hero has his own challenges. He first must overcome his own problems, and he uses that strength to go back and serve others. Am I right? Yes. And so you need to start thinking about, what's your story? What is my story? What challenges have I overcome to position me as an expert? Or what stories do I have of clientele that I've helped that will help me position myself as an expert, as a hero? And so a lot of us, when we, sometimes us as entrepreneurs, when we of those great things, which are all fine. But guess what? There's a saying that goes, facts tell, you got it, stories sell. Your story is a great way of illustrating not only your expertise, but how you may be able to help the person that you're speaking to. So start speaking in stories. You know who's the best at this? Mr. Gordon Sill at the back. If you ever get caught in a conversation with Gordon, he will tell you tons of stories. But they work. Knowing your story and the right story that's going to help you propel your business is very important. So here is Sumita, and I love Sumita's story because when we started working on her digital campaign and her personal brand, what it was all about was simply, it didn't have to be a struggle, it doesn't have to be traumatic. Her story was very simple. She really loved books and loved educating her daughter, and she realized that all the storybooks were always just about, like candy or cotton, really menial things. I don't want to call any names for books, but I will just say that the books just were just about, things like how can we overcome the cookie monster and, slay that dragon, and weren't really using real contextual things, such as, how about we take an adventure through China and, go through this territory and that territory and actually talk about real things that are happening, not slaying the cookie monster, right? So she had a concern for her child. She wanted to educate while continuing to stimulate the imagination of her daughter. And so she started writing children's books. And so what she did was use her story of how she used to take adventures as a child, and how she used to get in the mud with her father, and how she would take things, broken items in her home and start using them to build things. And so now she has a brand that's all focused around STEM education, which stands for science, technology, education, and mathematics. And she educates people based on her passion and her story of how she was brought up and how she learned to use science, technology, engineering, blah, blah, blah. And how she loves creating books that integrate these things. So this is another example of how you can take a simple story. It doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to be a story. So at this moment, I'm going to give you all a free gift. Who likes free stuff? Woo! If you go to cherenefrancis.com/free, you'll get a download. It's an ebook, a little workbook on some of the things you want to take through with your own personal brand. There's a little audio training, and there is a meditative prayer in there for prosperity. So it's for entrepreneurs, and it's just about being more confident, showing up in your most powerful self. It was actually what I listened to before I came on this stage. Yeah. Did I show up confident? Yeah. I'm silly. I'll take some questions from the audience, if you have any. Hi.
I may get the dunce cap for this, but what's a landing page?
A landing page, good question. So a landing page is basically if you are wanting to provide something for free, such as maybe a workbook, or you want to give them a tip sheet, or it might be an assessment. It's a page on your website, or it might not even be on your website, but it's a page that people go to, and they will submit their name and email, and then you will send them in exchange an item. It might also be in the form of a sales page. So they have sales pages that don't have any menu bars where you can click and toggle through. The purpose of the page is one thing. So it's just a page that is very intentional. So if the page is to sell a book, it won't have menu bars on it. It will just have the book. It'll talk about the book. It'll have videos about the books. It'll have testimonials about the book. But it's that one page.
Kind of like a pop-up.
No, it's not like a pop-up. A pop-up is a pop-up.
I get it.
It's a page of a website, yeah. It's a page of a website, very useful for collecting leads and building your list. Absolutely. And if you don't have a website yet, I always say just have a landing page, because it's more useful than just a basic website, actually. Yes. Do you mind standing up so people can hear?
So you work in B2B business, right? And so you're not really connected with the social networking and stuff. What's the best advice you would give when building a website so you can actually build your business or your brand?
Yeah, so B2B is, you have to know where those people are. So the one thing, misconception people have is, oh, it's a B2B, they're not online. But the truth of the matter is that people work in businesses. Does that make sense? And people are online. So they are online. It's just a matter of knowing where the key decision makers are and how to connect with them online. And so that's really what it's all about with that. And as a matter of fact, B2B, they're still using Google to search things. So there are ways that you can still rank through advertising. There are ways you can connect on LinkedIn to get to the key decision makers in a business. Okay? Yeah, so there's a process to this. You need to research that first. So we would go through the research and see where can we find these people. There definitely be calling happening all the time. Research, research, research. You never want to go in blindly. You need to know where they are first before you put money there. Yeah. Yes.
You said about eliminating the competition.
Yes.
Building your brand.
Yes.
So we have Lynn and we have myself.
Oh, yes.
We both sell or share the same product.
Yeah.
How do we separate ourselves?
That's right.
It's really about our followers.
Yeah, so you would have to make an executive decision whether you
Right.
want to brand yourselves as, whatever that might be, or have your own separate entities. So the thing with branding is you do want to think about long-term. So if you see yourselves working long-term together beyond the 5-year mark, sure, brand together. But if you feel like there may be other things that you want to incorporate in your own personal brand, you might want to consider having your own. You can always have your own personal brand and collaborate, right? So for example, I do that with Randy, I do that with Suzanne Hart. We all have our separate brands, but we have created products together and worked together in that way. I can take one more question, sure, yes.
Thanks for that. Your energy is amazing. So kind of a long question. I just came out of corporate Canada. I spent the last many years building a brand and selling for an organization where I had to follow their rules, which I didn't always agree with. Now that I'm starting my own business, I'm really sort of confused about the rules because corporate will tell you you have to do things a certain way. I'm not a good rule follower. I want to do it my own way.
Yeah.
Build my own brand. But I guess what is your suggestion for someone who is really starting out? They don't have a brand yet. Should they kind of follow that path until they get to a place where they can become a hero and then go off? Or do you just go in full guns blazing and just see what works?
That is an amazing question. And so what my suggestion, so did everyone over here hear what she was saying? Awesome. You want to show up in your brand the way you envision it. So if your goal is to be an Oprah, you show up as Oprah right now. Right? Because it is that consistent action of being that person that then transforms the environment around you. And branding is all about perception. So this is a key thing, I would write it down. Perception is reality in the eye of the beholder. So if you show up like I'm just starting out, what do you think they're going to perceive you as? Oh yeah, she's just starting out. Yeah, I'll start referring clients when I see her have clients. And then you never get clients, so they never refer you clients, right? You have to show up. You start today, first of all. The brand start, you don't wait, you just take action. 2, you want to be, and I'm not saying that this means you have to have flashy advertising and everything, but it just means you're posturing, you want to do your best to be that person that you want to be perceived as. So that first question, renowned, what do I want to be known for? You answer that question and you take action on that. You're welcome. Awesome. So there's a lot to this. There's totally a lot, and I am going to show you how to take things to the next level. Is that okay with everyone? All right. So I talked about this, and so here's an example landing page, kind of. You can tap your friend here. Example of a landing page. So how do you take this to the next level? Once you've established your brand and your target market, you want to what? You want to start promoting yourself. You want to start getting yourself out there. And the key thing that you're going to want to do is start leveraging these mediums. Whether or not you do things primarily face-to-face, as a matter of fact, the majority of my business is face-to-face. However, I use media as a way of not only nurturing the community, following up with people, but also getting more exposure so that I can therefore have more clients. So I'm going to show you how I am helping people do that. I'm going to also give a special offer for those of you that are here today. And it's basically going to help you take things to the next level, give you a really deep dive on how to establish your brand, how to create more influence, more impact, and more income. Does that sound good? All right. That sounds good. Good. All right. So I have a 2-day immersion, and as a matter of fact, this immersion that I've created is just for Randy's community. So although I work with people in terms of coaching and masterminding, this is it's a 2-day immersion only offered here. Once I leave here, it's done. Okay, so it's a mass market media masterclass. It's a 2-day immersion with the goal of 3xing your influence, impact, and income. How many would love to do that? How many of you would love to do that? Good, all right. So mass market media class, what it includes is learning how to launch and grow your brand with digital media using any of these forms. Now, you might not use all of these forms. It depends on the work that we do in this 2-day immersion. But television is one of them, using video, using radio or internet radio, internet marketing, and social media. And that's valued at $2,497. Once we have defined your brand, your target market, and where we're actually going to be going, which media we're going to use, we're going to draft what's called a 6-month content marketing strategy that you're going to use to start generating new leads and grow your list. So how many of you have been like, okay, I have my business, but what do I say? What do I publish? What do I put on social media? What am I vlogging or writing about, right? So in this 2-day immersion, we're going to make sure that you have a nice content marketing calendar so that you know what you're going to be doing over the next 6 months. Why 6 months? Because after every 3 to 6 months, as marketers, you want to start tracking and taking inventory of what your results are. So that's how marketing works. You do it within every 2 months, 2 quarters. Next step is to practice on-camera tips. So you look great, sound graduate and you're totally confident. So we're going to be talking about what are the things you need to be doing so that you show up confidently, that you're engaging, and so that you're actually using video as a tool to sell people. And then we'll also talk about image and personal branding. So this is based on how do you wear the right colors that are right for video, what type of prints. A lot of us don't really think about this, but they're very important things. And so we also include this advice for you so that you are in alignment with your brand. It's kind of like if you're telling a message or you're reading a story and the story's talking about trees, but what you're wearing is communicating like snowflakes. It's confusing, right? It's confusing, right? So this is what image and branding is all about. How can I continue to consistently share my message, not only through my words, but through the overall image, logo, design, and how I dress and show up. All right, and there are bonus gifts. So bonus number 1, guest interview on my TV show, which is broadcast all across Ontario, parts of Canada. It's also seen in South Asia, the Caribbean, and all over online. It's promoted throughout our social media communities, my communities, as well as other joint affiliates. All right, isn't that a great bonus? Oh my gosh! Right? Lifetime exposure on iTunes or YouTube. So by the way, that video will be available forever, right? You film it once, you have the interview, it's yours. You'll also have guest interviews on Facebook Lives, and I take that and it goes into a podcast and it goes a whole bunch of other places. And so a lot more exposure than just that TV interview. You also get that digital recording that you can keep. You can chop it up, use it however you want, put it on your website, and use it for your own promotional marketing. Okay? You also always have a brand strategy before we go on. So I need to know what your goals are, who you want to reach, what is it about. We do all of that scripting before we get on the show. And so all of that is included in that bonus. And that bonus is actually a $1,000 bonus that you're getting included on top of that 2-day immersion. You also get another bonus, bonus 2, woo, for bonuses. Yeah, bonus 2 is my Let It Rain Baby course. The baby part's not in there, I just kind of added it. But Let It Rain, rain standing for, I love my acronyms, riches, abundance, increase now. So it's all about sales, marketing, and branding, and how you can start perpetuating these nice systems and tools to start letting it rain in your life, bringing in more business, more leads, more prospects, and more money. And so this course, basically, I use it to help a lot of entrepreneurs brand, market, and sell $5,000 and $10,000 programs. I use this system myself to sell that as well. You're going to use it to get your message out there, be seen and heard while you're increasing your income. So let me tell you something. In this course, you're getting the foundation of branding, marketing, and sales, and also the TV show, and also you're getting that content marketing strategy, learning how to immerse yourself in media and just get started today. So this particular course has 6 video trainings, worksheets on branding, marketing, and sales for business success. So who wants this? Who wants this? Say yes, yes, yes. All right. So if you want this, stand up. I know some of you are like, oh shoot, but what's she gonna charge me for all that now? What's she gonna charge me? What's she gonna charge? Stand up if you want this. 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 Stand up if you know you need this. Stand up if you need this. Stand up if you want this. Stand up if you want this.
Okay.
If you want this and you know you need this and you know you have to get your brand out, you have a vision, stand up if you want this. Stand up if you want this. Okay, good. Come to the front of the room. Everyone that is standing up. Everyone that's standing up, come to the front of the room. Some of you are like, oh shoot, you're giving out stuff! Stand up if you want this and come to the front. Stand up if you want this and come to the front. Stand up if you want this and come to the front. Awesome. Stand up if you want this and come to the front. Awesome. Come to the front. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So if you didn't want this, you can go. I have a secret for these people up here. So thank you all so much. So since the entire room is up at the front, that's cool. So mass market me. This is a total value of $6,000, $497. $6,497 is this course. I do want to say that when I work with people, I am charging that or more. Okay? When I work with people one-on-one. In a group mastermind class, when I'm doing this type of work with people, they're paying at least $3,497. $3,497 when I'm working in a group setting. Okay? Okay, for you though, 50% off. More than 50% off. So $1,497 to get started with your brand today, and or 2 payments of $997. So this includes that entire 2-day immersion. That includes the TV show, the publicity of the TV show for 1 whole year and beyond, because it's on YouTube, it's on podcasts, it's on that. How many of you need to leave here with a YouTube channel, a podcast? How many of you need to start using social media? How many of you need to start getting your brand out there? Woo! Woo! Right? Woo! Right? And so today only, I will be doing that for 2 payments of $997 or 1 payment of $1497 plus HST. Now the thing is, money back guarantee for the next 10 days, right? I want you to be happy. So if you change your mind within 10 days from now, because I know I'm saying it's only now, you say, Randy, you know that girl that you had on stage? Yo, she's so motivational, but she got me all hyped up, and if that happens, sure, give her a call. But I'm telling you that there's 10 days, I'm gonna get you started with at least my online program, so you can start working on things. And we'll make sure that you get into that 2-day immersion. We're also going to start getting you ready to be on the show. That's going to start airing in 1 week. April. So I'm so excited for that. And so the immersion dates are April 25th and 26th. Or June 27th and 28th. So those are the dates. It's time for you to get out of the shadows. It's time for you to get out of the confusion. Let go of the tech issues, whatever you feel is, I'm not tech savvy, I don't have time to be on social media. Well, let me show you how to hire people to do it for you. And do it properly, because it's your personal brand. Get out of the tech issues, get out of the feeling of not being able to do it, and stand more confidently, right? Get that selfie stick, baby. All right, and grow your business. I want to thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.
Great. Everyone, let's give Cherene a big hand. Back there, don't make money the issue, so if you want to get started, let's get back there, let's figure everyone for being here. Thank you all the vendors, sponsors. The vendors are going to be open till 7 o'clock, okay? And we're running a bit late, so why don't we do this the mastermind? Let's start the mastermind at 7:30.